You ever get that feeling like you just said something and did a whole bunch of things and none of it mattered because you accidentally hit the camera button and not the video button on the software, so you just took a still image and talked for about 5 minutes. That's okay. Take two. Hi. You missed the whole Star Trek joke. I'll have to save for a future video. Yeah, I did the Red Wings flag joke has not really been completed yet. I did a version of it, but not the entire joke. The Star Trek thing you have to wait for. Just keep it in mind for a future. Anyway, until I'm already rambling because I just did this for 10 minutes and then realized I wasn't recording because I'm like, how long has it been going? Oh, there's oh crap. And then I had to fix it. Anyway, let's do before we get into one. Apologize, I kind of missed a day there. There's some shenanigans, mostly like I had some stuff show up in the mail and uh yeah, I can edit, so I could have just shot that reaction, but the way this set, air quotes, barely a set, is constructed, there's a lot of like, I mentioned this in the other last video I did, there's a lot of like setup and breakdown time involved, with this stuff. Uh, if you can probably tell, I mean, the wall, obviously, is the wall, but there are always various things behind me that need display and setting up and other such prep work that goes into these things. So, and also the current situation, current setup I have, the television has to get moved each time I do this as well. So, well, that's not a big deal. It's just an annoyance. There's a process to it. Um, anyway, enough about that. Once all this has gotten big enough and grown over the years, there will be obviously a members section for the YouTube, whatnot. There will be some very cool behind the scenes stuff. I'll touch more on that at the very end of the video because I don't want to waste too much time up front before we get to the fun part that everyone wants to see, and then you'll click off and go away. Before we get to that, I do want to explain something. Always, because I'm always wearing something different each video. It's kind of sort of running goal just to prove how many clothes I have to people, myself. I don't know. Anyway, this jersey was the one that was previously for the last few videos hanging right here, number 37 on the back. No name, just 37. This is a View Askew Bulgarians jersey, hockey jersey, that are pretty rare. I think they were only sold back on Kevin Smith's Jay and Silent Bob website for a couple of years. And even then, they were more pricey items. Honestly, it's not really like the jersey material is fine. It is screen printed, but considering I've had this for 25 years, that's you can't really see the fine details on camera and whatnot. This is not it breaking out. That's the actual coloring. So now, seen it in person, obviously, it actually is still in really great shape because I never really wore it that much. Never, like, yeah, I really didn't. I wasn't a hockey jersey wearing guy back then. Plus, this material, it's gotten softer since I washed it last. It used to be really scratchy. I think I fixed that last time I cleaned it. Anyway, other separate thing I want to point out, hat I just found before I started recording this. I knew I had it in this room somewhere, because I would have normally worn the Mitchell and Ness hat again, because it would have matched this stuff. Yeah, why not? But I have a lot of hats, so I tracked them all down. Found this one. This is a 1998 Stanley Cup Champions hat, Detroit, complete with the seal still here. Not an NHL seal, but an actual 98 like Stanley Cup seal. It's hard to really get with the light. I apologize. So, and then there's the patch on the side there, which is the same as that patch right up there. So, yep, glad to find this. It's not the official championship hat that they wore on the ice that year. Those are black on the top with silver brim with the black up. I know because I have one somewhere. Just gotta find it. I have all the championship hats and shirts. I have the. I'm not gonna pull it down now. I think I showed it off in one video, and I'll show up all those at once some point. I even have a special parade edition shirt you could only get at the parade downtown in 2002. So, a little exclusive, cool thing for locals or people that travel to be there. Anyway, um, not not my best Red Wings hat that's white and black. That one's coming once I find it. It is the holy grail of misplaced things in this house. And you'll understand why when you see it. Anyway, on that note, let's get to the unboxing stuff. 'Cause I know that's what everyone really came here for. See what stuff Doug, what crap Doug ordered today. Well, actually, not today, obviously. Several days ago. It's funny because the last video I did promise that I'll have goodies for you tomorrow. Not physical ones, but I wasn't expecting this stuff today. Uh, I had other plans for something I was going to do outside, but then there was rain. So that's another reason this all kind of got pushed back. And when I'm recording it 3 o'clock in the morning, Eastern time, local time. Uh, I'll get to that too when we get to covering the hockey. Anyway, actually, let me do it with a light and a slow reveal. There we go. This, as you can see, is an on ice decal set. Now I'm trying to get this a little out of the glare so it's visible. There we go. I know what I'm doing with lights. Just that having that overhead light there is like one of my key lights. It's killing me. Never do that. Not with just a single. Yeah. So, yep. If this looks somewhat familiar to any Red Wing fan, well, they have had this has been replaced by the Meyer logo, or as we locals call it, Myers. So as local thing. Anyway, yeah. If you look at any old photos, actually, this also explains why the helmet's so prominently featured in the front foreground for once, because I knew this was in that package. Really excited to have this, even though it's something stupid. And so I ordered this pretty much immediately after I got home, before even filming the video where I unveiled the helmet, because I knew this existed, and I was like, all of a sudden buying this makes sense. Well, like it was expensive. It's just decal sheet stickers. Actually, I think they say back on here. It's 3M Scotch films. I mean, they're not sports. I mean, they don't feel cheap. I'll say that. But yes, there's a reason the helmet's so prominently featured, right under the product placement. Body armor. Good stuff. No, actually, I have, ever since this whole thing became a thing with the NHL, like, it seems like it happened at some point mid to late first round of the playoffs. I need to historically go back and check and see when this changeover just sort of happened, because it's all over the benches and everything else now. And boy, I don't know if it was last night. I mean, well, yeah, technically. I don't know if it was Wednesday or Tuesday's game. Man, they would, so many ads. They're on the boards now and everything too. But, I will say that, one of my local convenience stores, well, one of them only has one flavor of this, which is like the orange mango, which is the first one I think you saw me drink on a video. My other local convenience, or other local store, which are literally about the same distance apart as the block from one or the other. A block in the suburbs. No, they have a lot more flavors. Um, I do like the bottle design a lot. I'll have to show more of them off, and stuff. So, but this one I literally got just because I like the color scheme. Obviously, colors that I'm familiar with and see a lot. So, go figure. Anyway, hold on. I know how to do this properly because of it. Yeah. Oh, wait, there we go. Body armor. Good stuff. I'm not really getting paid for this. I just find it hilarious doing it, especially because for the last year or so, I have been drinking a lot more Gatorade because I've been a lot more active and need to rehydrate. So, yeah, this has just become my new go-to because it's this size and price about the same, literally, as a bottle of Gatorade. I think that's kind of the point because it's their competition. So, Anyway, reason this is out and glary because that light is way too bright. It's already there's already a diffusion filter on it. Anyway, this goes with this. Go together. Actually, and ooh, sizing it up, eyeballing it. I wasn't really worried about this. I didn't care because the CCM logo is literally painted in a helmet. Even with a razor blade, I couldn't stretch it out. Not that I'd want to. Could. The only reason you'd want to is just because, like, well, the Red Wings logo's got to go somewhere. It's not gonna. The thing. There's some white around the edge of this. I don't know if you can see it on camera or not. Because the glare. Oh yeah, you can kind of see the seams there. Um, And just eyeballing it, looking at it, yeah, that's actually going to go right over the CCM logo, which is where it's supposed to be. It's supposed to be on an official well, the old school helmets. Like this one is pretty old school. Um, uh, yeah, yeah. The only just out of curiosity, because I didn't know this. This is not why I got this helmet. I literally had two choices. It's the best option. I know that back in the at least in the '90s, late '90s, early whatever I started watching hockey, which was the early '90s. I do vaguely remember, and my mom remembering somewhere roughly, I'm like, Eiserman had a helmet that was at least similar to this model, about the exact model the CCM made. I did some digging on photos and research. I'm not sure exactly what year. It wasn't what 98. So I'm not sure. It was sometime between 98 and 2002. So anywhere in that space. I don't know when this changed over. Slightly, I think a slightly upgraded or newer version of this model to come out being this helmet. Again, with really no, this is pathetic in here, but it was the early, this is 20 years ago. No, I did find a photo from the 2002 finals with Eisman wearing pretty much this exact helmet. The only difference being, obviously, there's no stuff on the sides because that's where the Red Wings logo is supposed to be. And the CCM in the front was custom red as opposed to black. So, and the straps were, and this was the straps and the chin strap were all white. Other than that, identical. So, hey, nice surprise. Cool little thing. And yes, I also did find around that time. He wore Easton gloves that they did have a similar kind of pattern going on. And again, I've also seen even current Wings players that have, trust me, I see it everywhere now, both in video games and real life. This particular like kind of pattern or coloring, and everywhere I see it now all the time, I'm just like, oh, that's and this is a staple word, yellow inside. So that's staple. Don't really see that in other manufacturers, I don't think. Uh, Just check the descript comments in like a month, and we'll see how wrong I am. I'm being optimistic about the month. Anyway, I got this out because again, numbers go back here. Well, in a modern helmet, you have a second set of numbers. There we go, right in the front here. But this is by no means a modern helmet. The most modern thing about this helmet is the ear guards. And and the fact that it still has the bracket mount for the visor, although I looked at it, this is only still here to keep these in place. They're part of the same thing. Because yeah, it's the only difference. The only difference again between this helmet and the one I know Eisner wore in at least 2002 era didn't have the ear guards. So this actual bracket for the visor, this wasn't even there. The screws in the bracket itself weren't even there. Nor were the ear guards. So I know I'm not planning to ever put a visor on this helmet because again, it's not much. When I get a newer modern helmet, yeah, but this one's just for free skating fun stuff. So it's more so preventing me from head injury. Face will have to wait. Goaltending mentality, I guess. Anyway, I'm debating if Yeah, there's a later time you'll get to see these put together. I mean, it'll probably be in a background of a future video. I'll just keep it stealthy so you don't know what I'm doing. I have plans. Anyway, our second and final item of the evening is not technically exactly 100% hockey related. Neither is this channel for that matter. Um, because tomorrow there'll be two videos going up. Uh, well, hopefully it's tomorrow. Well, technically it's today because that for me it's the whole story. May 10th at 7 o'clock Eastern Time. New season of Doctor Who starts. I'm gonna cover that as well because I always. I think I said really early on in videos this. I'll keep saying, I guess, every now and then to remind people don't just talk about hockey. I'm talking about hockey a lot right now because it's hockey season, playoff season, stuff happens. I do have other interests. Once the final set's done, I'll be very obvious. I have passions for a bunch of other stuff. Doctor Who's one of them. Um, I have a hat over there in the corner somewhere. Not somewhere I can see. I literally got it out the other day to wear for tomorrow's video. But, and if you've watched enough of these videos and seen me in a t-shirt, you should know I have a massive Doctor Who tattoo on my arm. So it's unfinished. I don't show it off that much in detail because it's not ever been finished in over a decade, but financial reasons. Gotta keep buying stuff. Ironic. Anyway, yeah, big fan. Obviously, hence with the tattoo. Doesn't don't really. I only own one Doctor Who shirt, which is ironic, and only one hat. But I have all this other stuff for stuff. Again, I have the tattoo. Kind of. It says enough. So anyway, yeah, very excited for that tomorrow. Of course, yes, we'll be covering or start covering that season at least. And then maybe if I get bored enough, I'll go back and do like some retro rewatch review or re-reviews, rewatches, or whatever you want to call them on stuff on some old school Doctor Who. I don't mean just old school in terms of the current series, the new Who. I could do classic Who as well. I'm pretty familiar with that as well. Again, you don't get a tattoo of something on you, especially something that's takes up a good chunk of that amount of space. Not really caring about something way too much. Yeah. Oh, I don't think I ever made it into the Jersey joke. We'll get to that in a second. I started talking about this and then got distracted by the hat. I'll get back to that joke in a second. I had a great version of it on the first take of this that didn't get recorded. That wasn't the whole thing, actually, obviously, because I'm still, you can hear me opening the boxes. I didn't get that far before I realized I messed up. But it happens to the best of us. We all be humans. Anyway, this one I'm actually really excited about. Potentially. We're gonna get to find out together how excited it is. Well, not exactly, because I won't know until after I watch this in post to see how it sounded. The packaging, as it should be, for this. Yeah. Can't really read that with the glare, but if you know, you know. Yep. There's just the actual ball itself. There's the legs and the wiring and all that junk. So, what we're gonna do, this, by the way, this, by the way, for those of you that are not familiar, is a blue, uh, snowball ice microphone, condenser microphone. Uh, as you saw in at least one video where I did use the microphone, the sound quality was better, but the volume was lower. And this one, as you saw, like from the last video, when I cut from, this camera properly being used, proper distance, by the way. At least for that front facing lens. The other lens is ranged with focal points, but um, the quality was better. It wasn't as crunchy and as compressed, but the overall volume levels of it were a little bit, and I want to fix that. There really wasn't anything I could do software wise. So, and again, what I had, the setup I had was really cheap. I mostly got it for the arm because I didn't know what the desk setup was going to look like when I started doing this. I didn't even imagine it looked like this because I thought I'd have an actual desk when I started early. So anyway, yes, as per recommended by basically everyone for various things, but it'll look better when it's on the stand. You'll never see it, that's the point. It'll always be just out of frame somewhere, doing its job. So, we're gonna do through the magic of not even editing, but just technology. I'm gonna get this set up, and then we're gonna plug it in live and see what happens. Because it's supposed to be one of the things they tout is, oh, it's just plug and play. There's no software. You just boom, plug it in, done. So I may have to swap over an audio the input setting, but other than that, let me get this set up real quick. Pick the parts, try it out. So I will be right back. Well, in reality, for you, it'll just be like, and we're back. Look at that magic. Yes. Anyway, this is now assembled. Little nice, little tiny stand here. It's actually kind of perfect because I set it down. Literally, I just had a frame. I just touch it a little bit here. There it is. Just out of frame. So basically perfect. We can see right now live if it actually works. Lights on now. I'm assuming I'm gonna have to go change the input source. Um, I don't even know yet. I'm testing it. So I just plugged it in. So maybe the audio quality magically changed. Who knows? But I doubt it. I'm probably gonna have to go swap sources. So one moment. All right. So, yeah, as far as I could tell, actually looking at the settings, the second I plugged it in, it actually swapped over. Although the input volume was not all the way up. It was like a 73 by default. I did run some tests. I know there's a sweet spot on this thing. I rotated a little bit because of that. Um, so I may have to fiddle with this a bit more, but hey, worth testing. I may have to just prop, talk properly. Wow. My late friend Craig, his dyslexia is rubbing off on me from beyond. Anyway, couldn't help myself. I was on a little break there because, of course, I was right. These stickers do exactly. Hold on, come on, balance. There you go. Fit over the CCM logos exactly perfectly, and you can't tell it on camera at all. There's way too much glare. Okay, now you can see the line that's there. The sticker is and the helmet is, but that's from a distance on camera. Oh yeah, that's seamless. So pretty happy about that. I kind of again the second I eyeballed it, I'm like, this might work. And these are very good quality, like thick, good, nice quality product. Um, for anyone wants to know, I got these online. I think it was Carol's Sporting Goods or Carol's Sports something. Google it, you'll find it. They don't have a huge selection of stuff, but what they did have was kind of unique stuff I hadn't seen a lot, like a decal kit. Sure, I could look for one individually, but something I stumbled on, didn't even think about existing. And also, just a little nod there to Iserman. Putting the 19 in the back. So, um, I did consider, I mean, the one thing that this stands out is the Red Wings logo. And it's not just here, that's another sticker I can peel off and use. I mean, and it would very easily fit right here on the front of the helmet. That was never a thing. Like it was just, I mean, it would obviously look better from the front, but also it was never a thing. And right now, generally speaking, for the most part, with the numbering and that, you'd be uh you'd be mistaken. Unless you need the detail on the white helmets, this was a custom red, not black. and same with the straps and the padding for that matter. I think I noticed about the photo I found of Iserman wearing this exact helmet in the 2002 finals. I know he wore was that the padding inside was white, not black. Again, just slight color variations that I'm sure were custom per team that they did. Anywho, yeah. Oh, last thing I was gonna mention about these real quickly. I'm not sure what I'm gonna do with the Red Wings logo yet. I have one idea potentially. Where to go? Let's see. The other thing is though, you only get a single of each number. So if you want to do a double number for someone, I'll screw it on that one. I don't have any double numbers retired, but there obviously were several in history. Currently, I can think of one from this past season, like 88. People might want to use for something somewhere. So you would need to get two of these for that. As silly as it is. But looking at what's left and what I can combine that's significant, can still very easily do number 5 for Lindstrom and number 7 for Ted Lindsay. And of course, it's, it's not turned around. You can't see it. Number 30 for Chris Osgood. I technically could do 37, but that's more of a Kevin Smith reference. So, yeah. I think I know what I'm going to do with these, where I'm going to put them. Doing those 3 players, and it makes sense. That's if I can include all the retired numbers, but literally I can't because the 9's gone now. And I need the 1 for Star Trek. And Delvecchio wore 8. I think Greg Kelly wore number 4, which is it's in the gray area of not being retired or not, whatever. That's a whole other thing I gotta do. There's a video you can find on the channel. Um, Maybe I'll see if I can pop it and end card recommend it or something. About it's like a whole hour discussion I did. The discussion just this. Actually I did have a lot of research and numbers to reference. Other Red Wings players who deserve or I'm nominating for at least consideration for number retirement, that kind of thing. Go look at that. It's fun. I really enjoyed doing that one. It was again, enjoyed doing it. The research side is fun. Takes like 4 times longer at least than it does to make the video, but hey, former journalist, so I enjoy it. Anyway, before we get to the hockey, I should get to the joke I didn't get to make earlier. Like I said, I'm wearing this View Askew Bulgarians jersey, which has normally been there in that spot. That's what jersey is for several videos now. Normally, that's what jersey is up there. What I did, being clever, hoping no one would notice, especially if I point it out during a video, but I swapped the Datsuk jersey out. Move the camera. Apologize for. Oh, actually, does not really affect the sound. That's down here. Never mind. Anyway, arm's gonna be blocking the mic. Gotta tilt up a little bit. And then number 13. It's Kurt Warner's jersey. Hey. And there's also what the Ziegler thing on the wind-up jerseys looks like for those of you who are curious. And there's also my movies jersey, smock, whatever. And that was the parade shirt I mentioned. Did I mention earlier? I don't remember. That might have been the take that got. That probably was the take that didn't get recorded, knowing my luck. So. Anyway. Oops. Not quite. Point of this is to keep the camera or the microphone, I mean, as close to my face without necessarily being in the shot. So. It's a little harder than it looks, especially because I know the sweet spot where it picks up audio the best. So, there'll be some finagling with the setup. At least I'm not doing this. It's probably really loud. Could test that, though. It's looking very awkward for a stand-up comic to be holding a ball. I was going to try that with the other microphone, actually. Just out of curiosity to see what it would have sounded like. Because that was one of the issues with that microphone. It was not particularly great at distance. Um, the blue snowballs are supposed to be some of the best for that. Although I mean, there could be different models. I know I got mine cheaper because I got it for on sale for half off because never pay full price for anything ever. Um, Hopefully it'll work out though. You know, a lot of testing to do and stuff still. Like I did say, the days of the 720 resolution are coming to an end. Uh, Eventually I will be filming a camera because I have there with the light I'm using currently. There is a It's a ring light. There's a camera mount literally in the middle of it. So it's just a matter of looking up how to remotely link this to the PC to yeah do all that pretty much wirelessly, which I think is and get this for my monitor so I can still see what I'm doing without seeing the monitor on the thing. Anyway, too much rambling. I didn't mean to pick that up or this or that. You decide. Hopefully the audio is better. I won't know until I watch this later. I could technically stop and do a test, but then it's just an extra file I have to drag in the editor. Really, I'm complaining about nothing. It takes 2 seconds. Anyway, since I didn't get a chance to talk about it last video, because I missed it, because timing got weird. Wednesday night's games. We had Boston and Florida for game 2 of their series. And Florida did not seem happy. I think, if I remember correctly, Boston got that first goal, and it looked like kind of more of the same, at least the early part of that game, more of the same of what we saw in game 1. And then Panthers head coach's name escapes me. I should know it. He deserves credit a lot for the win they got, but he just started putting the lines in a blender. Basically, he just pulling a Derek Lalonde in Detroit. At least what Lalonde kind of has been doing. At least the time I've been watching him coach the team this past season. That's it. But he would do that a lot with the top 9. Not all the forwards. The fourth line would kind of stay, but the top 9 would swap. Like you move anyone can kind of fit with anyone. It's just a matter of what team you're playing and what are the best matchups. And their coach was experimenting with that. And hey, guess what? They found it. Well, technically their fourth line scored first, and then the floodgates opened after that with finding the line combos that were working. So that ended up being a 6-1 game. Really, I think it was 5-1, or I know there's an empty net goal in there at the end. So I hate about box scores. It's like 6-1, they got blown. Well, yes, they got blown out, but it's not like. I guess when you look at the shots on goal with Florida with 33 and Boston with 13, it kind of does tell the whole story right there. But high number of hits in that game too. I don't have it offhand on the app here, but Anyway, the more exciting game. Well, like I think they were both exciting, fun hockey games on Wednesday, but the uh, the Oilers Canucks game, that was something. I believe, if I remember correctly, Canucks had a 3-0 lead, and the Oilers got back into it, and then it just became real tight. And then Vancouver ends up winning that one by 1. So they win game 1 of that series. So at least for now, we'll see what happens Friday night as I'm recording this. Anyway, the games just happened today that I did watch. We had game 3, sorry. Game 3 between New York and Carolina, which was the whole series has been great. And I mean, New York could sweep it. Carolina could reverse sweep it at this point because those games 2 and 3 have felt very tight, very close. Could have easily gone either way with a couple of bounces. It didn't catch on the broadcast or in the news. I'm not sure why Freddie Anderson didn't start for Carolina. If there's an injury issue, which in the playoffs has got to be severe enough to keep someone out, especially a goalie from starting, or if it was one of those things, kind of like what happened with Boston in their game Wednesday. They just threw Allmark in net to give him a different look. Uh, or no, sorry. Yeah, yeah. I believe that was Wednesday's game. I know Allmark played recently for Boston, and the thing, I was like, oh no, that's right. Swayman got pulled during that 6-1 game on Wednesday. Yeah, after four goals, after it was 4-1. Uh, yeah, his name was on the tip of my tongue, and then I just lost it completely. Boston's head coach. Anyway, yeah, he pulled him after four, and I think they didn't point out by broadcast others that kind of see him mouthing to the goaltender. It's not on you. It's just it seemed like one of those just reassuring him like this ain't your fault because it wasn't. Swayman was playing fine. The team in front of him wasn't. Anyway, I got off on that tangent because yeah, thinking about the Rangers and Carolina game from a couple hours ago. Yeah, I don't know why. I didn't catch the reason why Anderson didn't start. I'm assuming it was probably a similar thing though of we're down 2-0 in the series. It's like a must-win game for us. We've got to give him a different look. I get that, but Anderson's been arguably your best player next to Gensel. So, boy, what a pickup at the deadline that was looking like for them. I mean, he's probably still a rental, so sooner if he goes somewhere in free agency. But man, because if Detroit needs to fill in more scoring talent, assuming that Patrick Kane is going to go back to Buffalo and Stamkos is going to stay in Florida because these seem like the most likely scenarios. If Gensel's on the market, that could work. Obviously, you can't quite make up for either Patrick Kane or Steven Stamkos, obviously, let alone the two of them playing together, which is still a remote possibility that I have all the fingers and everything else crossed for. Please, hockey gods, maybe? I know we have a lot in Detroit, but that'd be fun. It'd be fun to watch. Anyway, getting set off track. So yeah. So yep, New York goes up 3-0 in that series. Kind of surprised. I remember that game being tied fairly late. Well, another overtime game. Surprised me. Yeah, the thing that tells the story of that game too is looking at the shots. Again, Carolina outshot the second game in a row now. Carolina outshot New York badly, 47-25. So at least you're padding Shesterkin's stats if the Rangers make the finals. So like I said, I think goalies winning the Conn Smythe. I don't know which teams are getting there, but a goaltender's going to win that Conn Smythe. Said that really early in round one based on how things were going. Anyway, the late game, um, which admittedly, yes, I dozed off and missed some parts of, but I did catch the replay and stuff before I did this because I wanted to see what I missed, literally. Um, yep, that was game two between Colorado and Dallas. Looking like it's going to be a really fun series. I believe Dallas was up 3-0. Looked like they had this one in hand. As Colorado either didn't have it or Dallas had their number, whatever it was. And then things started to change. Uh, actually, I think it might have been. Was it 4-1? I'm thinking of a different game. I think, but yeah. I did just watch most of this and then watch the recaps. Well, so I just watched the recaps. Between that and again, how long it takes for me to set this little stuff up, it's literally been like an hour probably. In between all the other stuff I did and pausing to get the microphone, helmet all made up, and other junk you guys wouldn't even know about. So. But yep, anyway, uh, despite the attempted comeback by Colorado, because again, I think it was 4-1 going into the third period. And I think it was said by broadcast. We all know this too if you've been watching any. I would say probably a couple of years, but this last season especially. Both Colorado and Edmonton are never out of a game. I don't care if it was 5-0 to start the third period. Like, there's still a decent chance they pull this off, tie it, go to overtime, and or score 6 goals. Both teams have that potentially ridiculously explosive offense. I've seen it happen this year. This year alone, multiple times with both teams. So, um, we'll see. Anyway, no, Dallas hangs on. Uh, and I think it, well, really wins it 4-3. 5-3 is the final in the box. I'm almost positive that was empty netter at the end because it was a one goal game. Um, Shots were even at 31 apiece. So, a lot of hitting that game too, that I remember. Seemed like, but we're in that point of the playoffs. Like I said it like after one of the first games that there were 100 total hits because there were 50 exactly on each side. Like, these are video game numbers you never see. Apparently, I was wrong. I've seen numbers of clips of that already. I think Florida in their series with Boston's already set the franchise record for single game hits for the team, and like combined with they've yeah. Um, Something that I guess has changed over the years in the game. Not that that's necessarily changed. Maybe I'm noticing it more now, or it definitely has gone up. Playoffs, a lot more hitting. Probably because there's less penalties called, so people can get away with it, or they feel they can get away with it more. So anyway, this has gone on long enough. Now this is one segment of many. So anyway, quick little preview. Uh, yeah, I don't know how this is gonna work because Doctor Who premieres at 7, which is the exact same time as Game 3 of Florida and Boston. And then the late game tomorrow night is Game 2 of Edmonton, Vancouver. So it's not like I can really start one's at 7, one's at 10. Very likely those end up, unless the first game goes to overtime, those shouldn't cross over, hopefully. Um, so yeah, I may have to get to the Doctor Who review on Saturday. There's also two games on Saturday, but they're late. They're late games. It's the same start time, 7 and 10. So yeah, I can get Doctor Who on Saturday. I can watch it in the morning, and then I will do my thoughts and stuff after. So I guess that's fair to all you Brits complaining that now we could kind of get the day or the show a little bit earlier than you, which I know is wrong. Even I feel bad about that. It's like this ain't right. Just give them they get the show a week early. Well, no, actually, there was a time period in my life where there was a bit of a delay, and it wasn't good. Not with the internet being around. And anyway, enough about that. Uh, be back tomorrow. We can talk about whatever happens with Florida, Boston, and Edmonton, Vancouver. Because yeah, it's definitely shaping up to be. I mean, everyone's just calling it round two. I'm so old and like it's the conference semifinals, though, right? That's. I'm looking at the AHL brackets right now because Grand Rapids won their first round. I'm like, yeah, it's division semifinals for them. They're playing next, the winner of another series that hasn't finished yet. So that's a thing. And I think even I was watching some of the PWHL playoffs during the start of that because it started a little before the New York Carolina game did. So Toronto and Minnesota because they do have a format where they have 6 teams like the original 6, but they skip Detroit because yay Minnesota. Anyway, and Chicago they do either. Point is, 6 teams, 4 make the playoffs. They'll have obviously seedings based on rank. The interesting thing though, the number 1 seed gets to pick if they want to play the 3 seed or the 4 seed. So they get to determine the other team's matchup as well, let alone their own. So Toronto was number 1. They picked, I think, Minnesota. I forget if they were third or fourth. Doesn't matter. Still. Um, and at least I think they're doing old school NHL style, which is the first round is going to be best of 5, and the final championship will be best of 7, which is how the NHL used to do it. And even when they expanded it further, back in the day originally, the first round was best of 5, suppose best of 7. They changed it to have less upsets in the first rounds. But then again, those terms are the preliminary round, as we used to call it. It used to be preliminary round, I think. Conference quarterfinals, conference finals, or no, sorry, Conference quarterfinals was the first round. Because there were four. Wait, whatever. I believe it was conference quarterfinals, then conference semifinals, then conference finals. Right. And then, after conference finals, there's four rounds, whatever. It's late. It's literally 4 o'clock in the morning when I'm recording this. Because I did, again, not often sleep during parts of the Colorado Dallas game. But I caught up with it. I caught up the highlights afterwards. And also watched the Hockey Guys breakdown. Or, well, was kind of watching it while I was getting all this stuff set up. So I caught bits of it. I'll have to rewatch it at some point. Anyway, I will shut up and stop rambling. Making me thirsty. Like more body armor. And yes, this video is now at least 7 seconds longer because of that joke. Anyway, click all the things at the end here and then bye bye for now.